All right, Shalom Israel. Yahba Shem Yahshua Barakatham, Yahweh Shema Thumb Bashem Yahshua to the brothers and sisters. I'm Priest Officer Parak, home down the Sabbath service for the ISUPK out of Arizona. All right. Um, if you're watching online, make sure that you look at the bottom of the screen. Our class schedule as well as our class location is posted at the very bottom of the screen. All right. Today we'll be going over Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. We're going to be talking about regeneration, right? Basically, what happens when you die. That's what we're talking about today. The Christian church teaches, that when you die, you go to heaven and you stay there, right? Logically, it doesn't make any sense, right? And we'll go over that. We'll go over why logically it doesn't make sense for when you die to be in heaven. And then somehow you stay in heaven your entire life. And then you also believe that New Jerusalem is going to be, set up, right? So you believe that when you die, you go to heaven, but then you also believe in the book of Revelation that there's going to be some sort of, what they call it, a rapture. There's going to be some sort of rapture. And, what's going to happen with the earth at that point, right? People don't use logic when they think about death. They use whatever's been told to them. And they've been told that when you die, you go to heaven or you go to hell, right? Which is not biblical. We'll talk about that as well. And we'll talk about what actually happens when you die, which is reincarnation, regeneration, whatever you want to call it. And we'll prove it out of the Bible. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So just me up here, Armando. Step up.
How about Shem Yahshua Brakatah?
You got to register first.
That's not.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Good.
Razan Ban Yahada Ban Yashrala.
Razan Ban Yahweh Ban Yashala.
Shalom Yahaba Shem Yahshua Brakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Brakatah. You step up.
Ban Yashrala.
Which means to Israel. All right, everybody else, have Mayum, which means to stand. Or Panyagwadam, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to get these prayers in. Beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Awanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shamka. Yahweh. Malak with Ka. Taba'ah. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Baratazak. Kawa. Hayah. Washamayim. Nathanawa. Nakam. Call Yawam. Wasalaki now. Kawabat now. Kasalak now. Kawabati now. Wala'ah. Tabaya now. Wanasai 1. Abal. Hawashai now. Mayan, Rakaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Watha Parat, Lawalamium, Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day, our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. All right, we're gonna get the cock, which is the power. We're gonna get that in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Bashem Yahushua. Baba Kusha. Nathanawa. Hakat. Larapa'ah. Call Maka Allah. Wakal Madawa. Hakat Latahar. Hamatazariah,
Hamatazariah,
Hakat,
Hakat,
Lakwayam,
Walkwayam,
Hamathium,
Hamathium,
Hakat,
Hakat,
Arwakawa,
Arkarwa,
Hatama'alah,
Hatama'alah,
Lagarshan,
Nagarshan,
Bashim Yahushai,
Bashem Yahushai,
Thawad Aman.
the Wadaman,
In the English, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahushai,
in the name of Yahushai,
please give us the power
please give us the power
to heal all manner of sickness
to heal all manner of sickness
and all manner of disease,
and all manner of disease,
the power to cleanse the lepers,
the power to cleanse the
the
lepers,
power to raise the dead,
the power to raise the dead,
the power against unclean
the
spirits,
power against unclean spirits,
to cast them out.
to cast them out.
In the name of
In the
Yahushai,
name of Yahushai.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Psalms, the 121st chapter in the Hebrew. Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Ahaharyam,
Aharyam,
Ma'ayan,
Ma'ayan,
Yaba'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Isaiah,
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 Ma'aim,
Ma'an,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Shemayam,
Shamayam,
Waratazah,
Waratazah,
Al Yathan,
Ayathan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Regalka,
Wagarka,
Al Yanawam,
Ayayawan,
Shamarka,
Samarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawan,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yayashan,
Yayashan,
Shawamar,
Shawamar,
Yasha'ala,
Yasra'ala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Samarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Al Yah,
Yah,
Yamyaka,
Yamyaka,
Yawamam,
Yawman,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Vayarat,
Balayala,
Balala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Hashamarka,
Makalra,
Makalra,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Athnapashka,
Athnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'afka,
Taza'athka,
Wabah,
Wabat,
Waka,
Waka,
Ma'aitha,
Ma'aitha,
Wa'ai,
Wa'ai,
Awalam.
Awalam.
All right. Psalms 121st chapter in English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yasharallah
he that keepeth Yasharallah
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in,
and thy coming in.
from this time forth
From this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
Psalms the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Aldama Yalaka,
Adayallah Khan,
Al Thakarash,
Al Thakarash,
Wa Al Thashakwat,
Wa Tashakwat,
Al
Al
Kayahana,
Kayana,
Awayabika,
Amyabika,
Yahamaya 1,
Yahmaya 1,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al Imaka,
Aimaka,
Yara Yamwa,
Var Yama,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wayatha,
Wayatha,
Ya'itazaw,
Ya'itazaw,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Atazapa Windika,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Winakakidam,
Wakakidun,
Magalia,
Magalia,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Yazakar,
Yasakar,
Sham Yasha'alu,
Sham Yashala,
Iwada,
Awada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawaitazaw,
Ya'itazaw,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Yakagwa,
Alyaka,
Ayaka,
Baryath,
Baryat,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarathwa,
Ahaya,
Ahaya,
Adawam,
Adawan,
Why Yashamai Aliyam.
Wire Shema
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'aba,
Wahagaryam,
Wagarian,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Waima1,
Waimawan,
Waimalak,
Waimalak,
Palashah,
Palashah,
I'm Yeshabya,
Ayushabi,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gam Ashawar,
Gam Ashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawat,
Zarwai,
Zarawat,
Labanya Luwat,
Bunyalat,
Salah,
Salah,
Ashalaham,
Ashalaham,
Kamadyan,
Kamagi,
Kasaya,
Kasayat,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Kayabyan,
Kayamian,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Kwayashwan,
Kayashwan,
Nashamagwa,
Kashamagwa,
Bayan,
Bayan,
Da'ara,
Da'arat,
Hayawa,
Hayawat,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
La'adama,
Shayathamwa,
Shatamwa,
Nada,
Nada,
Yamawa,
Yamawa,
Ka'irab,
Ka'arat,
Wakaza'aba,
Wakaza'ab,
Wakazabak,
Wakazabak,
Wakatazal,
Wakatazal,
Mana'ai,
Mana'ai,
Call,
Call,
Nasaya,
Yasiyah,
Kamwa,
Kamwa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nayarashah,
Mayrashan,
Lanawa,
Now,
Av,
Ah,
Nawat,
Nawat,
Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Alahaya,
Alahayim,
Shayathamwa,
Shaitam,
Kagalgala,
Kagargala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya,
Lapanya,
Rakah,
Waka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Taba'ira,
Taba'ira,
Ya'ira,
Ya'ir,
Wakala Haba,
Wakala Haba,
Talahat,
Talahat,
Harayam,
Harayam,
Khan,
Khan,
Tharadapma,
Dawadak,
Basa Irika,
Basa Arika,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapaka,
Wapatka,
Tabahalam,
Tabalan,
Mala'a,
Manahat,
Palaham,
Palaham,
Slaki. Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Palawan.
Kalawan.
Waya.
Waya.
Bakwashwa.
Bakashwa.
Shamka.
Shimka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Waya.
Waya.
Bahawa.
Bahawa.
Ayai.
Ayai.
Waya.
Waya.
Kaparwa.
Kaparwa.
Waya.
Waya.
Abagwa.
Abagwa.
Waya.
Waya.
Daiwa.
Daiwa.
Kayatha.
Kayata.
Shamka.
Shimka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Labaka.
Labaka.
Ayawan.
Ayawan.
Alkal.
Akal.
Alratiza.
Baratiza.
All right. Psalms 83rd chapter in the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh,
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh,
and be not sluggish, and hold not thy peace,
and hold not thy peace,
and be not still,
and be not still,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo,
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thy enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They are taking crafty counsel against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden
they
ones.
consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
Come,
Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Yasharallah
The name of Yasharallah
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
But they are consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
Assur also are joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They are hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
as to Sisera,
As to Sisera.
as the Jabin,
As to Jabin.
at the brook of
At
Kasan,
the brook of Kasan.
which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became a dung for the earth.
Make the nobles like a rib,
Make their nobles like Oreb.
and like Ze'el.
And like Ze'el.
Yea,
Yea.
all their princes as Zabah,
All their princes as Zabah.
and as Almunah,
And as Amunah.
who said,
Who said,
let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh
the houses of Yahweh
in possession.
in possession.
Oh my God,
Oh my God.
make them like a wheel,
Make them like a wheel.
as the stubble before the wind,
As the stubble before the wind.
as the fire burneth the wood,
As the fire burneth the wood.
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And as the flames set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy tempest.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame.
that they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh.
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Yea,
Yea.
let them be put to shame and perish,
Let them be put to shame and perish.
that men may know that thou,
That men may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
are the most high over all the earth.
the most high over all the earth.
All right, the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh.
Barakatha Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Why Yahweh Shai?
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Why Micah
Wa
Allah?
Allah Hayim.
Why Allah?
Matazab Ya'ah.
Matzab Ya'ah.
Allah Wab Yahana.
Alabab Yahana.
Ha Allah Wapyum.
Ha Alabapim.
Hasaranyu.
Hasarani.
Hakwatazayanyu.
Kwatazayani.
Hakaya Yoyu.
Hakar Yayu.
Waha Gwati.
Waha Bakti.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashem Yahweh Shai.
Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Wad Aman.
Wadaman.
In the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Micah.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding General Yahana.
Commanding Jerry Yohana.
The generals.
The general.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Sorry while you're shopping, we can be seated. All right, so we'll be in Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. We'll be reading from verse 3 to 9. All right. We'll be I want to say skipping around. We'll be moving around a little bit throughout this chapter. And throughout the whole book of Ecclesiastes, right? Let me see. So what we'll do first, we'll read Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. We'll read verses 3 through 9 in the Hebrew, and then we'll read it in the English. All right. Use that. Use the mic. All right. All right, you got it up.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 3. Ma, tawa one. La ada. Bakal. The wa. Shawa. That's like. Shala. Shaya. I'm off. The God. Hashamash. Verse 4. Looks like the war. Allah, Allah. Wada war. Ba'a. Wala, wa'a, what's that? Wa'a Rataza. La'ai walam. And Amadah. Verse 5. Was a rock. It's like, was a rock. Hala, it's like, Hashamash. Baba'ah. Hashamash. Wa'a. Wakwa. Wakwa. Maquam. Wa. So, like, Shwa apart. It's like Shwa apart. Zwa rock. Zwa rock. Hawa'a. Sharm. Verse 6. Hawalak. All. Dara 1. What's the why? Bot?
Where you at?
Verse 6.
You in verse 6? Wow.
What's bot?
Wait, the first line?
Come.
Yeah.
Okay, come. What's the why? Bot? All to the pa 1. So why bot?
That's a ba at the end, so it would be
Ba.
Sawa Baba.
So Bob.
I don't know if you're saying that already, Salaki.
No, I was trying to make sure. My price, my P's and D's are different.
Nah, yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
So Bob, how call?
How a lot?
How a lot? How what? How what? What aisle? Sabai ya Tawan. It's like Yawa Shab Harad what? Verse 7. Call Hanak Layum Halak Yum All Hayum Wahayum Ayan Nawa. It's like Ayan, yeah, it's like Run Nawa Mala'a Ma'a All Makwa of 1. Shahad Shaham Layum.
Shahana call you.
So Shahana Kalyum. Hakad like Halakyum. Sham Ham Shabadyum. It's like Shabayum. Valakta. That's Valakta, right?
That's like I lost you. Where you at?
End of verse 7.
The last word?
Okay.
Balakath.
Lalakath. Verse 8. Call. Habad the it's like Hadad. It's like Dabar Yum. Yaga Yum. La'a. Yawa call. Ayash, La Dabar, La'a, Tashabai, Ayun, Lara Awath, Wala'ad, Tamala, Aizan, Mashamai, verse 9, Ma, Shahaya, Hawa'a, Shawad, Shaya Haya, Wama, Shanai, Shanai Asha, Hawa'a, Shawa Ayash, Wa'ayan, Ka, Kadash, sorry, Takat, no,
Come.
uh,
The cough? Yeah, that's correct.
Takash,
No, where you at? The cough, right?
yeah, Takath,
Yep, that's correct.
Takath, Hashamash.
All right, get that brother a hand. That Hebrew is hard to read.
If I can, I've been
Yeah.
studying up on algebra lately for classes, and some of those lines are getting me confused with the.
I understand. Trust me, I get it. Learning that Hebrew is in any, of course, we've been speaking English our entire life and reading English, so it's extremely hard you're learning a new language. You know what I'm saying? But not only a new language, you're learning a new character set. Because even if you learn in Spanish, at least you're using, the alphabet. You get what I'm saying? But when you learn in Hebrew, you're learning signs and symbols. So it's that brother is definitely doing an excellent job. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started now. All right, so let's get Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. Now we do, of course, on Sabbath services, we do everything in 7. So we'll read 7 verses. So I thought and saw fit to begin at verse 3, right? So I could get the meat of what we're talking about. So let's start at verse 3. Yeah, you can use it.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 3 in the English. What profit hath the man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun?
So now that's a good question. Now, who could tell me who wrote the book of Ecclesiastes? Who did that? Who wrote the book of Ecclesiastes? Anybody could answer. Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes. This was considered the wisest man to ever live. You find that all throughout the Bible that he was considered the wisest man to ever live. Now, Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, and he's asking a good question. He said, what profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? Now, this is a good question to ask because think about it, right? You work, so let's talk about life for 2 seconds, right? So you're born, you're a child, and your parents raise you up to be, however they raise you up to be a man, or if you're a woman, they raise you up to be a woman, right? And then once you grow up, what do? You get a job, or some people, they start their own business, or some people never get jobs. Some people are just lazy, right? But point being is, all of the work that you do in your entire life, right, from the time that you're born to the time that you die, what happens to that work after you die? Like, what profit do you get from that? What profit do you get from that labor, right? It's a good question to ask. Think about it. People say this all the time in the world. You're born, you grow up, you work, and then you die. And that's what people, that's what people equate life to. That's just life for people, right? So he's asking, what profit what do you get out of that, right? Keep going.
Oh God. Verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh.
Now, every Christian will tell you that they've read the Bible, but they read this and they just skip right over it, right? They don't think about it at all. These two verses go hand in hand. They're talking about the same thing. What is the profit of that you get from all of the labor that you put in under the sun, right? All of the labor that you put in your entire life. Well, to answer the question, one generation passeth away and another generation cometh. Here's what we got to understand about life. The work that you put in this life is not just for you. It's also for your children, right? The work that you put in, your children benefit off of it. Now, what does that do for you specifically? Now, of course, your children get to benefit from it, of course, right? But what does that do for you? Because you're going to be dead. You won't be able to experience any of the, of what your children do, right? Is that right?
Huh.
So what's the point?
So they're straight going forward.
You said what?
So they're good, going forward.
Well, yeah, they're good, but what do you get out of it? Let's be selfish for a second. What do you get out of it? When you come back. What you provide, this is what we've got to understand, right? The Lord is not a vain God. He's not. I say this all the time. What you put in, the work that you put in, even after you die, is going to either benefit you or hurt you when you return to this place. When you come back, when you are reborn into the earth, if you've done a terrible job raising your kids, they're going to raise terrible kids. And then their kids are going to raise terrible kids. And then when the Lord decides to bring you back throughout your generations, you're going to be raised as a terrible child. And you're going to be raised by a crack addict. You're going to be raised by somebody that's in prison. You're going to have a father in prison and your mother's going to be a crack addict. And that's going to be your life because that's the type of children that you raise, right? So the labor, the work that you put in, not only, of course, your kids benefit from it. If we're going to think selfish for a second, what do you get out of it? Well, when you return back onto this earth, you're gonna reap the benefits of what you sowed. And of course, I'm gonna get scriptures on it, right? Let's keep going.
But the earth abideth forever.
And this is heavy to understand too. So the generations are gonna pass, right? You're gonna have, you're gonna have sons. Your sons are gonna have sons, daughters, right? And there's gonna be generation after generation, right? And so, one generation passes away. You're gonna die one day, right? And then there's gonna be a new generation. But the earth abideth forever. And that's a cold cut because it shows you that the heavens and the earth will never pass away. So we're going to keep coming back on this place. Whether you think it's, whether you think that, I'll put it to you like this. If you read Matthew, the 5th chapter, right, it tells you that the law doesn't pass away, right, until heaven and earth pass away. But then we read that the earth abideth forever. So that means that the law is never going to go away. So we're going to keep regenerating on this place. And we're going to keep doing the same thing we're doing right here in this building, which is keeping the law, right? Continually, right? But let's keep going.
Come. Verse 5. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hateth to his place where he arose.
Right. So now this is important to understand, right? Now this is giving you the physics of regeneration. Everything regenerates. The sun regenerates. The plants and the leaves and the trees and water, everything regenerates, meaning replenishes itself, right? It says the sun also ariseth, right? So the sun rises in the morning, right? Sun rises in the east, right? And then it says the sun goeth down. So there's a revolution, right? The sun rises in the east, it goes down in the west, and then it says it hasted to its place where he arose, meaning it's going to come right back into that revolution. And that's regeneration, right? That's like that. All that is the sun making one full revolution, and it does it every single day, without fail, right? And if it did fail, we wouldn't be here. We'd all die because because we freeze to death. You get what I'm saying? But that's Solomon showing you that the sun regenerates. But keep going.
Verse 6. The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. There's
no such thing as new wind. The science will tell you this. Wind just cycles. That's it. Right? Wind gets pushed from one place to another, and then it comes back to the same place that it was. Right? That's the wind is doing what? It's regenerating, right? It's not. Wind just circulates, right? So it says the wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north, it whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. Right? Keep going.
Verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea. Yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again.
Right. There's no. Okay. This is what's beautiful about the Bible. This is science. If anybody knows the precipitation model, right, or the cycle of water, right? You know about that. You learned about that, right? We all learned about that in what, 6th grade, 7th grade. How rain precipitates, and it comes down and it fills up these rivers. And then what happens? Does the water just stay in those rivers and stay in those bodies of water?
It evaporates.
It evaporates and goes where?
Into the sky.
Into the sky, into them clouds, and then what happens?
It rains back down.
And then it rains back down, that same water, right? The rain regenerates, the rain recycles, right? Let's get a precept. Let's get Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha. And let's get the 14th chapter, right? I don't know if you want to use this one, or you can use your phone if you want, but
14th chapter.
Yeah, let's get Ecclesiasticus, the 14th chapter. We'll start at verse 17. Now we're gonna get another example, right? Now this is Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha. This is not the same as Ecclesiastes. Solomon didn't write this, right? Let's get the 17th verse.
Book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 14, verse 17. All flesh waxeth old as a garment.
Right, so all flesh waxeth old as a garment, right? Your flesh withers away. What happens, right? When you get older, you start to get wrinkles and you start to decay, right? You get old enough, you're going to die, and your flesh is going to literally decay off of your body. Same thing as a garment. If I leave a shirt, right, or a pair of pants or whatever, if I leave them out for long enough, they're just going to decay, right? That's what happens, right? Keep going.
For the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die the death.
That's part of the covenant that started with. Listen, man, that's the Most High created us not to live eternal. We were never meant to live forever. Never. We were never meant to live, for an eternity like the Christian church teaches. The Christian church will teach you that you're supposed to live forever once you die. Once you die, you go to heaven and you live eternity. Even me, when I was growing up, I was like, damn, I don't want that. I didn't even want to live forever, because I remember asking my parents, I was like, so you telling me when we die, we go to heaven and we just stay there forever? And I used to have this concept in my head where it was like a circle and it was like never ending. I'm like, damn, so you never have the experience of doing something for the first time ever again? Once you've done it that first time, you never get that experience again. Like that always bothered me. That killed me, because I was like, damn. So I'm never going to experience my first kiss with a woman again. I'm never going to, experience what it felt like first time I rode a bike or whatever. I'm like, damn, that's terrible. So eternity is not 1,000 years. It's not 1,000,000 years. It's forever. I'm like, God damn.
Go ahead. Like, we used to trip me out to go to church, and they just say that once Christ comes back, everybody on earth is going to live forever. They just think that, so nobody dies. So you're going to overpopulate the earth even more?
You're gonna. That's an excellent. Listen, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that the earth can't even hold the souls that are made for it now. That's why everybody that's been here before, they're not all here at once, because the earth will be overpopulated. So now you telling me that the more so if we live forever, we're gonna procreate, we're gonna have babies forever. The earth, and that's forever. The earth would not be able to support. The earth can barely support what it's got right now. You get what I'm saying? We're draining this place of its resources with 8 billion people. Now imagine after 2 million years of people never dying and repopulating the earth, how many more people is that going to be? That's going to be quadrillions of people. This earth would never be able to handle it, which just goes to show you that whole concept is flawed. You know what I'm saying? There's no logic in it. And that's what a lot of people, like Christians, don't have logic. They don't understand just basic common sense, right? But let's keep going. Right. So that's the covenant from the beginning. We got to die. Point blank. Period. Give me verse 18.
Verse 18. As of the green leaves on a thick tree, some fall and some grow.
So now, as of the green leaves on a thick tree, just leaves on the tree, right? Some fall and some grow. Keep going.
So it's a generation of flesh and blood. One cometh to an end, and another is born.
Right. So that tree is regenerating more leaves continually. off of that same tree. One leaf falls and another leaf grows in its same place. If you know anything about trees, when a leaf falls off of a tree, that same stem or that same place that leaf came from, there's going to be another leaf that grows there. You know what I'm saying? So that's also another a good example. Give me Psalms the 104th chapter. That's an excellent example when it comes to just understanding how things regenerate, right? That's how things regenerate. But now we're gonna get King David. He's gonna tell us how people regenerate. He's gonna tell us how men and women return on the face of the earth, right? Whenever you got it, you can get it. 104 and 29.
Yeah. The book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 29. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die.
So this is keep going.
And return to their dust.
So this is how we die. We live our life, and then when it's time for us to die, this is David speaking to the Most High. He's saying, "Thou hidest thy face." The Most High hides his face from us, right? Because remember, the Most High gives us the breath of life. So if he hides his face from us, that means we die, right? We don't got no more breath, right? They are troubled, meaning they die, right? Thou takest away their breath, they die, and return to their dust. What happens when we die? Everybody gets together, has a big funeral, puts us 6 feet under, right? That's what they do. They put us 6 feet into the ground. We go back down into the earth, right? Keep going.
Go on. Verse 30. Thou sendest forth thy spirit. They are created. And thou renewest the face of the earth.
So now he sends forth the spirit, right? He sends forth the spirit, and they are created. And thou renewest the face of the earth. So what is this talking about? Who could break this down? Break this down for me.
It's basically saying that after you die, the Most High will send your spirit back onto this earth, to be born again. Not to like a Christian, but basically
that's
you come again as a baby to live your life again.
Right.
To renew the earth, like the Bible said, that just no new thing under the earth. So that we've always been here. We've always been here. Like this is not.
You good on the mic?
life.
That thing acting up. I don't know what's wrong. Go ahead.
But so we always been back. We always come back. At some point, a few generations down, the Lord will send our spirit back onto this earth.
Right. He said, "Thou sendest forth thy spirit; they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth." What is the definition of renew? Give me that, if you could. Give me the definition of renew. Now that's gonna get the answer to all your questions about this whole class, and then we could just stop teaching. Of course, we're going to continue teaching, but we could stop teaching after this precept here, right? Give me the definition of renew.
The definition of renew: to resume an activity after an interruption.
To do what?
Resume an activity after an interruption.
So what death is just an interruption in life. That's it. That's all death is an interruption in life. When you die, your life is being interrupted. Right? That's it. And then the Most High sends forth his spirit, and then you're created again and renewed on the face of the earth. You have a question, sis?
Yes, I want to ask, now, we've been here before. Now, is it true that if I'm here in this lifetime and I'm crippled, do I come back here crippled again?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. What happens? Okay, so here's how regeneration works. Regeneration in a nutshell is your spirit comes back as a member of your family, right? So, for instance, you're a Judite, right?
Judah.
Yeah, and so I'm a Judite. So, if I was to die, right, a couple generations down the line, I'll return as a Judite because that's my family, that's my immediate family, right? That's my tribe. But what happens is, and we're gonna get that. There's a precept to this in the book of Esdras in the Apocrypha. When you die, your spirit is sent to the Most High to be judged for what you've done on the earth, right? And what happens is the Most High will see fit to whatever your punishment should be or whatever your reward should be. So if you've been a wicked bastard on the earth now, the Lord is going to make you be born into a family full of crack addicts and child molesters, right? But if you're a great, if you've been an upright, brother or upright sister, right, and upheld the law of the Most High, he'll have you born into, a family that keeps the law, right, and that does, good things. So He might make you crippled if you've done terrible things, but if you've done good things, he won't make you crippled. He'll make you blessed. You get what I mean? But we'll get the precept for that in just a minute. But good question, sis. So that's how this works, right? Let's go back into Ecclesiastes. All right. And then you can go to verse 8.
Okay, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 8. All things are full of labor.
Mm-hmm.
Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing.
Go ahead.
Verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be.
So now it says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. Keep going.
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
Right? That which is done is that which shall be done. Right? The thing that was done in the past, it shall be done again. Right? The thing that was in the past shall be again. Right? Keep going.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
There is no new thing under the sun. Nothing. Not even you. Give me Ecclesiastes, the 6th chapter. Right? He said, no, there is no, he's talking about regeneration. And he's talking about the regeneration of leaves. He's talking about the regeneration of the waters. He's talking about the regeneration of the sun and the wind. He's also talking about the regeneration of man. And I'm going to prove it to you. Give me Ecclesiastes 6 and 10.
Come on. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 6, verse 10. That which hath been named.
So that which hath been named, go ahead. That's like it. That's that which hath been, right?
That which hath been.
That which hath been. Now we just read in the 1st chapter, in the 9th verse, it says the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. Now he's explaining it in another chapter, in the 6th chapter. That which hath been, go ahead.
Is named already.
Uh-huh.
And it is known that it is man.
It is what?
It is man.
It is man. That thing that he was talking about in the 1st chapter is man. That thing that had been and shall be, that's man. That's talking about you, right? I've been here before. You've been here. All of us have been here before. And the fact that we are lucky enough to be placed inside of this truth means that we did something to please the Most High in one of our lives. You get what I'm saying? The fact that we were able to escape death and come into this truth is a end product of us doing something to please the Lord, right? Even if you go into the story of John the Baptist, Christ told everybody that John the Baptist was Elijah reincarnated. He said that out of his own mouth. And Elijah was he's one of my favorite prophets, but he didn't even taste death. The scripture said that he went up to be with the Most High, right? He didn't die of a sickness or a disease or, a gunshot to the head. He didn't die of none of that, right? The Lord just took him up. And then, of course, he was regenerated into who we know as John the Baptist, right? Who also had a high position. You get what I'm saying? Keep going.
Come on. Neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he.
Right. So let's get another precept. Where I'm at. Okay, you know what? Let's read the next 7 verses, and then we're gonna get some more precepts on this, right? So get me we're gonna move around a little bit, right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, and these are the verses we're gonna read for our 7 verses. We're gonna read verses 14 through 16. We're gonna skip 17 and 18, and then we're gonna read 19 through 22. We're gonna do that so that way we can get everything, everything that we need within 7 verses, right?
So verse 14 to 16,
and then 19 through 22.
19 to 20.
I don't know what's going on with these microphones.
You said 14 through what?
Through 16. So Ecclesiastes 3 and 14 through 16, and then 19 through 22.
Okay, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 14 in the Hebrew. Yadai Taya Kaya Ka Ashar Ya'ai Ya'aisha Ha'ai goddamn Ha'a Lahan Layam Hawa'a Yahweh La'ai Walam Al 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 Yawa, Awan, Ayan, Laha, Wasa, Wasapan, Yapa, Wama, Wamam, Nawa, Ayan, Lagar, Lagara, Lagarai, Lagar, like, so what's that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like a right.
Kind of, Lagarai, Lagarai, Waha, Waha, Alayan, Aisha, Shaya, Ra'awa, Mala, Pun Yawa. Verse 15. Ma, Shahaya, Kabar, Ha'awa, Aishawa, Wa Ashar, Ya, Haya, Yahawath, Kabar, Haya, Wahala, Laba, Quash, Ath, Hada, Narad Pa, Narad Pa, verse 16. Wa'Iwad, Ra'ad, Ra'ad Yathya, Thakath, Hashamash, Makwa 1, Hama, Shapat, Shema, Hara, Shai, Boma Kwawam, Hataza, Dak, Shema, Hara, Shai, in verse 19, Kaya, Makwara, Banya, Adam, Wama Kwara, Habahama, Wama Kwara, Akkad, Laham, Kamwat, Za, Khan, Mawat, Za, Barat, Habat, it's like Akkad, Lakal, Wamad, Wathra, Ha'adam, Man, is it Mawat or Ma?
Sluggy.
Man or the Mana?
It's mine.
Man, Habad, Habama, Ayun, Kaya, Hakal, Habal. Verse 20. Hakal, Hawa, Hawalak, All, Makawan, Akkad, Hakal, Haya, Man, Epar, Wahakal, Shab, Aya, All, Epar, Epar. Verse 21. Maya, Yawa, Yawadai, Barak, Banya, Adam, Allah, Hayah, Lamai, La, Ra, Wath, Habama, Haya, Radath, Hayah, Lamta, La Arataza. Verse 22. Ra Yathya, Kaya, Ayan, Tawab, Ma'ashar, Yashamak, Wa Adam, Bamai, Shayawa, Kaya, Iwa'a, Kalawa,
What?
Right. That car, then Kalakwa,
Yeah, Kalakwa.
Kalakwa, Kaya, Maya, Labaya, Ainawa, Lara, Wath, Bama, Shah Yahweh, Akar, Yawa.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to read those in the English. All right, so let's read Ecclesiastes 3 and 14.
But Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 14 in the English. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever.
So no matter what God does, everything that he does is permanent. Everything. So the spirits that he created are permanent. When he created your spirit, right? When he was creating all of the spirits and he created your specific spirit, he created that thing to be forever, right? That same spirit that he created 12,000 years ago, 8,000 years ago, whenever he created it, that's the same spirit that you have here today, right? Because it's permanent. Anything that the Most High does is permanent, right? Keep going.
Okay. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken away from it.
Nothing can be put. There is nothing that anybody can do to permanently kill your spirit, the spirit that inhabits your body. There's nothing that anybody could do. They can cut your throat and drain the life out of you, but your spirit will regenerate into one of your future generations, no matter what anybody does to you, right? Keep going.
Okay. And God doeth it that men should fear. It's like that men should fear before him.
The only being, the only thing that exists that can take your spirit from you is the Most High. Because now we know we're Israel, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're Israel, and we're the Lord's chosen people. So the Lord, he allows us to regenerate, right? Consistently throughout all of our generations. There's one nation of people called Esau, or the Edomites, or the so-called white man. In the book of Obadiah, he said in the 10th verse, he says that they are going to be erased from existence, meaning they'll stop regenerating. That's what'll happen. To give you kind of an example of this, right, of what's already happened, remember, there used to be a tribe called Dan, right? There was a tribe of Israel that was called Dan, right? They were the Danites, right? Because Israel, it's like it, yes, Israel or Jacob, right? He had 12 sons. I want everybody to understand how this works, right? So he had 12 sons. The tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, they are tribes because of their father Joseph. So Joseph is the immediate son of Jacob, or of Israel, right? Ephraim and Manasseh are actually grandsons, but the Lord decided that Ephraim and Manasseh would be their own tribes, right? There was also another tribe called Dan, but now we don't have any. We don't call anybody a Danite today, right? The tribe of Dan got small. They stopped populating, or they stopped. They wasn't having enough sex, straight like that. They was not making enough babies, and that's how you are able to regenerate. That's how you're able to regenerate through your bloodline. They stopped making enough babies to where they ended up going into the tribe of Manasseh, right? So now that's why there's no more Danites today, because they couldn't regenerate because they weren't mating enough. They weren't making enough babies, right? So now that's why they're mostly in the tribe of Manasseh, some in the tribe of Ephraim as well, right? Point being is, it's up to the Lord whether or not you come back onto this place, because he can permanently kill your spirit. He can permanently kill it, just like he said he's going to do with the Edomites, right? But let's keep going.
Come on. Verse 15. That which hath been is now.
So we keep seeing this, right? We keep seeing Solomon say the same thing. That which hath been, the thing that was happening before, it is now also. Keep going.
And that which is to be hath already been.
And the things that are coming, the things that are to come, they have already been, right? You're coming back on this place whether you like it or not. And you're here now, right? So that's why he's saying the thing that and that which is to be hath already been, right? Keep going.
Okay. And God required that which is past.
And that's an important point when we talk about this subject, right? The Most High requires that which is past. What is that talking about? What does it mean when he says that he requires that which is past?
Like, if I can, sir, just talking about whatever you did beforehand during your life.
Mm-hmm.
At that point,
Mhm.
you know, you're gonna have to be judged for it.
Yeah.
Later.
What does require mean?
Require means it's like, you just look at it.
No, you could. I mean, if you want to look it up, or you could just tell me what you know the word require means.
Require means is that what is needed, like
What's needed, right?
Huh.
It's payment, right? You ever heard the saying? I know we all have. You gonna pay for that, right? You did something to somebody, and they tell you, "Oh, you gonna pay for that," right? Meaning what? They're gonna require it of you. Meaning they're gonna do something to you. You're gonna pay in one way. Meaning for some people, when they say that, they mean you're gonna pay with your life, right? You're gonna pay for that. Meaning I'm gonna kill your ass when I see you next time because you did something terrible, or I'm gonna beat you up, whatever you want to call it. Okay, come on. Right? So the Lord is saying, what you've done, you're going to pay for that. Keep going.
Verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment.
The what?
The place of judgment.
He said, moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. So this isn't talking about heaven. Heaven is not the place of judgment. This isn't talking about hell. Where's the place of judgment? It's under the sun. What's under the sun?
The earth.
The earth. The earth is under the sun. That's where we get our light from, right? That's what lights up the entire earth. We are under the sun. This is the place of judgment. Keep going.
Okay. That wickedness was there,
Mm-hmm.
and the place of righteousness the iniquity was there.
Right. And the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So it's talking about earth. It can't be talking about hell, right? What the Christian church calls hell. Why can't it be talking about what the Christian church calls hell?
Because Christians say that when you die, your spirit leaves your body.
Right.
Then we know that in Matthew, not Matthew, but you know that Christ says that when you it is Matthew, that when you die, like, don't fear the man which kill the body, but fear him that can kill the body and soul in hell.
But why? Okay, so now that's actually a really good precept, right? But okay, let's that you jam me up, because that's like a really good response, right? But it says, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So now Christians teach that there's no righteousness in hell. They say that Satan is down there with a pitchfork poking you in the ass and you burning to death continually forever, right? So when it says under the sun, the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there, this is that place of righteousness. That's the earth, and it can't be hell, because there's no righteousness in hell, the so-called hell that Christians teach, right? This is the place of righteousness. Why? Because the Most High is going to set his kingdom on this place. That's why this place is the place of righteousness, right? Give me 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha. You can take this. 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha. And let's get to 14th chapter. And let's talk about what happens, right? Because we just saw that the place of judgment is here. This is where you go. This is when you die, the Lord brings you back to this goddamn hellhole to be judged. Now, some brothers listen, Captain Ariyah, which is the son of General Muhammad, he was born into the truth. That's somebody who was judged favorably, because he was born into this truth. He's never tasted pork. You get what I'm saying? He's never smoked a blunt. He's never gotten high. He's never done any of the things that are against the Most High, because his father brought him up in the truth. The Lord chose Captain Ariyah to be brought up in the truth because he wanted Captain Ariyah to be safe from child molestation, safe from rape, safe from drug abuse. He wanted him to be safe from that. Why? Because he must have done something excellent in his life prior to this one to be worthy of that type of judgment, that righteous judgment, right? Give me 2nd Esdras, the 14th chapter. Let's get verse 35.
Okay, the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 35. Mm-hmm. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again.
And we shall do what?
Live again.
So after death, the judgment comes. That's what happens. You die and your spirit is sent to the Most High. So do we go to heaven when we die? Hell yeah, we go to heaven for a time, right? We go for a time to be judged. Just like, for instance, if you get you get yourself in a jam in America, you got to go before the judge and before the jury. And they're going to judge your punishment, whether you are guilty or whether you're innocent. And so the Most High is going to do the same thing. Your spirit, when you die, is going to be sent to the Most High, and he's going to judge whether you've lived your life as an innocent man and kept the law, or you've lived your life like a guilty man and disobeyed the law and been terrible, right? After death shall the judgment come. Keep going.
And then shall the names.
After death shall the judgment come. Go ahead.
Then we shall live again.
When we shall live again. The judgment happens. You play out your judgment or your sentence, right? Once you come again, once you live again, right? When you're born, you can be born like Captain Ariyah. That was his judgment. His judgment was favorable because he was born into a family that was in the truth, where he never had to worry about things that, somebody in the world would have to worry about, dealing with drugs and dealing with child molestation and abuse and things like that. Or you can be born like a crack. We all know the term crack baby. You can be born addicted to crack cocaine. That's what you can also be. You can be born addicted to crack cocaine because your mother was smoking crack while you were in her belly. And you got to get weaned off of crack cocaine at 0 days old. You could be born into a family like that too. It all depends on how you live this life, right? That's where you play out that's where your judgment plays out. Your judgment plays out when you shall live again, right? Keep going.
Okay. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest.
And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest. Now, the names of the righteous being manifest, that's talking about what I was just talking about with Captain Ariyah. or any brother or sister. Captain Kapash just had a beautiful son, man. He just had a beautiful baby boy that was born under a captain of 10,000. General Muhammad is actually, man, he keep popping them things out. He's having another baby coming up soon. That child is going to be born into the truth. That's the names of the righteous, right, being manifest, because that child is going to grow up under a mighty man and an excellent woman, right? That's in his truth, man. You get what I'm saying? That's when that judgment is going to be, you know, the names of the righteous are going to be manifest, right? They're going to live an excellent life in this truth, right? But keep going.
Gone. And the works of the ungodly shall be declared.
And at the same time, the works of the ungodly shall be declared, meaning when the ungodly are, you know, there's a scripture that says, I can't recall exactly where it is. I believe it's in the Apocrypha, that says that, you know, you look at, I'm paraphrasing like hell, right? But you look at a man that's a sinner, and you talking to the Most High, like, where's his punishment at? Where's his judgment at? Like, look, like, just think about it today, right? Think about your rappers, your famous rappers, or you know, your wicked police officers, even, right? These cats, I'm talking about the brothers and sisters. I'm not talking about white people. Let's keep it on rappers, right? These cats don't do nothing but talk about selling drugs, prostituting women, having sex with everything that moves, right? And they're rich, and it looks like the Most High is blessing them. That's what it looks like. And some of these cats live to a ripe, full age, and then they die peacefully. And you ask the Most High, well, why doesn't he get punished? But why I'm such a good person, because everybody's such a goddamn good person, right? I'm such a good person. Why am I getting punished? How come I live in a goddamn basement somewhere in North Philly, or on the south side of Chicago, right? Or in the slums of Los Angeles, right? How come I don't, you know, I'm such a good person and I'm being punished, but he's such a terrible person rapping about prostituting women and getting high all the damn time, and he gets to live to a rightful age and never die. That's not the right question to ask, right? Their judgment will come, and it doesn't have to come in this lifetime. And me personally, I would rather that my judgment come in this lifetime. I would rather that I get, if I've done anything to sin against the Most High, I'd rather that I get judged now for it. Because goddamn, I don't want to be born into a family as a child where I have no power. You know, children have no power. A baby, General Muhammad taught me this. There are three things that get abused more than anything else, and that's children, pets, and women. Why? Because they don't have the power to stop it. You get what I'm saying? They don't have the power to, a child doesn't have the power to stop their mom from abusing them or stop their father from burning cigarettes on their body. You get what I'm saying? They don't have the power to stop that. What are they going to do? Right? Just like a pet. A pet doesn't have that, you know, pets get abused all the time. And what are they going to do about it? Call the police? They can't do that. You get what I'm saying? They got to sit there and take that abuse. What is a woman going to do to some big burly man that's threatening to kill her and beat her up every single day of her life? And this is the soft, tender woman, which is what she's supposed to be, and she can't defend herself. Those are the three main people that get abused. You gonna say something?
Okay, now my mother and my father, I was born into crack. My mother and my father both did crack. They're both dead now. My mother died at 54. My dad died 8 years after she did. Now, by me being into, I always felt that I've been here before. I always felt that I was born into the wrong family. I like the black sheep of the family, the whole, the outcast, the one that never around the whole family. I always separated myself. Right. Now, by me being in the truth now, I will be reborn back into that family. You said I'll be reborn, like, since I'm in the truth now, I'll be reborn into like a family like with the UPK, like.
Yeah, that's if you stay in the truth, the Lord's not going to punish you by putting you in a family that's outside of the truth. Okay. He's going to bring you back, and we'll actually get a scripture that talks about that. Okay. Right? But the Lord will put you in. He'll put you in a family in this truth. You got children, right? So most of the time, what happens is you're born into your immediate family, meaning your great grandson, or of course you're a woman, so your great granddaughter, right? Would be, if you're not alive at that point, or your great, 4 generations down, that would be you. That's a possibility too. But of course, if they're not in the truth, right, the Lord's not going to suffer to put you in that position. You'll just be reborn as a woman in the tribe of Judah somewhere that's in the truth. You get what I mean? Right? Like I said, I'll go into some more precepts that'll kind of explain that a little bit better. Right? But that's the point. You get what I'm saying? It's either the names of the righteous are going to be made manifest, or the works of the unrighteous are going to, they're going to be declared, and that's a scary thing. And so that was my point in bringing up that example, right? Because so many people look at these evil people that are on the face of this planet, and nothing's happening to them, right? They're not getting killed, they're not dying, they're not living a terrible life. The Lord isn't striking them down like you want them to, right? But their judgment doesn't have to be right now. Their judgment can come after death. And like I said before, I would rather my judgment come now, because the reason why I was bringing up the example with the children is because I don't want to be born into a family where I have literally no way out. I'm a 2-year-old getting molested. That's possible, and it happens all the time. I heard this terrible story about this young girl. I don't even want to talk about it, but I want everybody to understand how serious it can get. There was a story about this little 2-year-old girl. Breaks my heart every time. I think it might have been a heathen. Breaks my heart still. She was raped. A little 2-year-old girl was raped by her father, and it was so bad that she had to get her insides had to get rearranged. She had to get her insides surgically rearranged. That's how bad it was.
I heard that.
You heard that story, right? It was a heathen, right?
Yeah, a heathen.
But I would cry over that. I would cry over it. That's a baby, regardless of whether it's a heathen or not.
My mom told me about the story where this person, this kid had to go to daycare, and then there's the guy that would tell him what to do, and it happened for a long time. But then the cops found him, and then he went to jail now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Them children, they don't have. I mean, what are they gonna do? The child doesn't have any sense of protection. They can't protect themselves, right? And so, man, things like that break my heart. Now, I'm afraid of God to put me in that position, because He will. He can put you in that position. He can absolutely put you in a position to not be able to fend for yourself and something terrible to happen to you. I'd rather just get judged here. So next time you think about, why is he, rich and famous and got all this money, and I'm a good person, and I'm not rich, and I don't live the best life. Just remember that His judgment will come, whether it's now or in His next life. You gonna say something?
You said the Most High will put you in a position like that. Me, as a little kid, I was molested at the age of 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
Now, is that the curse from my age before, or?
Yeah, it could. Well, yes, because you as children. Okay, so at that age, at 5 years old, children don't know any better. They don't know anything. So you couldn't have sinned against the Most High to where, now I gotta punish her. Not at 5 years old. You get what I'm saying? So that would be a judgment based off of something that has happened prior to that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that would be, right? Children can't make, even them at their age, they can't make decisions for themselves. You get what I'm saying? And then 9 and 11, right? Y'all 9 and 11? You 11? Okay, yeah. Point being, right? See, I'll be, ever since I stopped celebrating birthdays, I don't know how old I am. Shit, right? But point being is they're not even it seems like they can just make every decision on their own because they're pretty mature for their age, right? But they're still not old enough to make righteous judgment. You get what I'm saying? So they couldn't be punished for something that they do right now, right? Because they don't know what the hell they're doing. If anything, I would be punished, or their mother would be punished, right? So yeah, let's get actually that precept that you called. Give me Matthew 10 and 28.
Yes.
Right, because this is the place of judgment, and remember, we're still going off of in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, where it says that I saw under the sun the place of judgment. This is the place of judgment.
Like on the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which killed the body, but are not able to kill the soul.
Right. So don't fear the one that can kill your body but can't kill your soul. Now, who's that talking about? It's talking about any man, any woman on this earth. right? That can put you to death. Like I said earlier, they can cut your throat and let the life drain out of your neck. They can do that, but they can't kill your soul. They can't stop you from coming back on this earth. The Lord will still have you to come back on this earth, right? Keep going.
God. But rather fear him, which is able to destroy both soul and body.
Both soul and body. Go ahead.
In hell.
In where?
In hell.
In hell. The Most High can destroy your soul and your body. So he can kill you. He can give you cancer. He can give you a heart disease, that he can explode your goddamn heart. I done heard some crazy stories. I done heard cats that was wicked as hell, but they was healthy. Wicked as hell, but they was, perfectly healthy. These cats are athletes, and and out of nowhere, their heart explodes in their body. That's happened. Why? The Lord just decided to take their ass out for whatever reason. He's gonna say something.
There used to be a show where it's called "1,000 Ways to Die."
Yeah. How many ways? Yeah, like how the Lord will put you in front of a freak accident and kill your ass. That's possible. And it happens all the time. And he's able to kill. So now he's able to kill your body. That's any man can kill your body. So of course the Lord can, but he can also destroy your soul. How can he destroy your soul? Where?
In hell.
In hell. That's what the Bible says. Matthew 10:28. He can destroy your soul in hell. Now, what is that? That's your spirit. He can destroy your spirit. The reason why there's crackheads walking up and down the street today, when you walk outside this door, you'll find all of them. And I say crackhead like it's like a broad term. Not many people do crack anymore, but a lot of people do them damn pills. What's them pills called, sir? Them pills that they be doing? The fentanyl, they be doing that fentanyl, them perk 30s. You know what I'm saying? All of those pills. You're a crackhead if you're doing those things. If you're doing drugs, period. I'm willing to go as far as if you're smoking weed, you're a goddamn crackhead. That's how it is. That's how it is to me. You know what I'm saying? But point being is, you can just be that forever. The Lord can destroy you that way. And it's amazing that the Most High, see, this is the way the Most High works. The Most High can do those things to you, make you go through situations, terrible situations to kill you, right? Or to destroy you and keep you destroyed forever. Or he can make you go through those terrible situations to bring you into the truth. Like you just went over a situation. That situation was one of many, I'm sure, that led to you coming into the truth. A lot of people have to go through hard things in order to search for the truth. Otherwise, you won't search for the truth. You get what I'm saying? I had to go through terrible things in order for my mind to be like, it's got to be something better than this. Because a lot of people that are rich and grow up wealthy, they're not looking for anything better. They're not looking for God because they feel like they got everything they need. Some people have to go through terrible things in order to get their mind in the mindset that I got to find something better. There's got to be something better than this, right? And so that's how the Lord can work. He can destroy your soul, but he can destroy it to keep it destroyed, or he can destroy it to build it back up. You gonna say something?
I say no.
You 12?
Yeah.
All right. So now let's get back to it, right? That's a good precept to have. That's when we break down like heaven and hell. That's the true hell. We go to Matthew 10:28 and we tell people what the true hell is. True hell is not a place. Listen, man. True hell is not a place that you go when you die and you're getting, you're burning forever, right? Some people would rather burn forever than live in this place because this is the true hell, right? Living in America as a black man, Hispanic man, Native American man or woman, right? This is the true hell. Right, but let's get back to it. Let's get Ecclesiastes, the third chapter. Let's get verse 19.
Now, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 19. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. Mm-hmm. Even one thing befalleth them.
Right, so this is talking about death. Just like you die, beasts, right, animals, they die too, right? Keep going.
As the one dieth, so dieth the other.
See, we all die in the same manner. Right? What happens when you die? Your heart stops beating, your lungs stop pumping, and you stop breathing, and that's it. You die. Same way an animal dies. That's the same way an animal dies. The animal dies when he stops breathing and his heart stops pumping. Right? Keep going.
Okay. As the one, it's like, yea, they have all been, it's like they all have one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast.
A man have no preeminence above a beast, meaning we all gonna die. Everything that lives has to die. Even trees have to die, right? Even plants have to die, right? Give me Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Give me the 41st chapter. The book of Ecclesiasticus actually talks about death a lot, and it actually helps if it helps you to understand. It helps you understand death a little bit better, right? Because so many people look at death like it's such a terrible thing. Like when people die, people cry when their grandfather or their grandmother dies. Like, listen, man, your grandfather was 90 something years old. He's supposed to die. He's supposed to die before you. But some people, I mean, literally, they sit in anguish for years over the death of a father or a mother or a grandfather. And you don't think in your head like, well, they were supposed to die. They lived a full life. They lived till they was goddamn 98. You know what I'm saying? But Ecclesiasticus, it helps you a lot with death, right? That's what all my death precepts, well, I don't say all of them, but most of my death precepts when I counsel people on when somebody dies, I go to the book of Ecclesiasticus because it tells you how to mourn. It tells you about what death really is, right? And we're actually going to get one of those precepts now, right? Give me Ecclesiasticus 41:3.
41.
Yeah, 41:3. It's a lot.
But the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 41, verse 3. Fear not the sentence of death.
It says, do what?
Fear not the sentence of death.
See, everybody's afraid to die. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Everybody's afraid to die because of the lack of understanding of what death really is. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody understand. Like, I understand what death is. And when in this class, you're going to learn what death is, right? But not everybody understands what death truly is. And so because of that, they fear it. They fear what happens when you see somebody. A lot of people have seen somebody die, or at least been to a funeral, have had somebody die in their life. All you know is that this person stops breathing and they're no longer here. That's all you know, right? If you don't understand these scriptures. That's scary because a lot of people don't. Yeah, go ahead. A lot of people don't understand what truly happens when you die. And what's beautiful about this class is this is going to show you why you shouldn't fear death. You shouldn't fear death because what's going to happen when you die?
You're gonna come back.
You're going to come back. And you know what's going to happen? What I was talking about earlier, you know what's going to happen? Is all of the beautiful experiences that you've had in your life, you're going to get to experience them for the first time again. You ever heard somebody tell you, man, I wish I could do that for the first time. I wish I could do this for the first time again. I wish I could watch that movie for the first time again. Because the first time I did was just so beautiful. A lot of listen, man, a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters be like, man, I wish I could have sex for the first time because that was like the best thing ever. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. The first time I heard about this truth, it was beautiful to me. But I only got to experience that one time because there's only a first time once, right? Now, when you get regenerated on this earth, you get to experience everything for the first time once again, and life is you're rejuvenated, and that keeps life interesting. That keeps life. It gives you something to look forward to. So now, why am I going to fear death when I know I'm just going to come back? Especially if I'm in the truth. Now, if I'm not in the truth, then that might be a different story. If I'm not in the truth, then I might fear death because I know that the Most High might kill me. Right? It's like the Most High might bring me back into a terrible family. And I might have to relive all of the terrible experiences that I've lived in this life. Or if I am in the truth, I know that the Most High is just going to bring me back and I'm going to be in a great family. You going to say something, sir?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's brothers in prison can feel that.
Yeah, damn right.
Because I know they feel, they want to feel that same thing.
Right.
For the first time again. Right.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah, and that's, it's a beautiful thing to be able to experience. You ever looked at a child? You ever seen everybody that has kids? I got kids. Everybody has kids. You remember the first time you saw your child laugh? Yeah. Ain't that a beautiful thing? Now, there's two things that you should get out of that. One, when you regenerate, you'll get to laugh for the first time. You'll be happy for the first time and smile for the first time again. And you'll also, when you are regenerated, you'll be able to see your baby smile for the first time. You'll be able to witness that for the first time. Because I know when that happened to me, I damn near cried. I'm like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? Like I was looking for every reason to get my child to smile after that. You get what I'm saying? And that's just it's never like the first time ever again. You get what I'm saying? But let's keep going, right? So fear not the sin. Don't be afraid of death. Don't be afraid of it, right? Keep going.
Come. Remember them that have been before thee, and that come after.
Remember all of them that came before you, and the ones that are going to come after you. Why? Keep going.
Okay. For this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh.
This is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh. When he says all flesh, he's not just talking about no goddamn human beings. He's talking about animals, insects, everything, bacteria, all of it has a starting point, which is their birth, and they all have an ending point, which is their death. Everything has to be born and it has to die. The only thing that was never born was the Most High. That's it. Everything else has to be born. The tree that you plant in your garden, the plant, right, that you plant in your garden, it started when you planted it there, and it's going to die one day. That tree is not going to live forever. Even the trees that have lived the longest for 300, 400 years, they're going to die too, right? Everything has to die. Don't be afraid of that, right? And he's telling you, remember them that have come before thee. They're dead. Remember them that are going to come after you. They're going to die too. Everything has to die. Why be afraid of something that you know is just going to happen? It's got to happen. Why be afraid of it? And it's even better when you understand what death really is. When you understand what happens when you die, like Second Ezra, it gives you the play-by-play. You die, your spirit is sent to the Most High to be judged. He's going to judge you based off of what you've done in your life, and he's going to send you back down here based off of what you've done. And that's where your judgment is going to play out. And if you want to know that in good conscience, then what you need to do is you need to make sure that you're in this truth and you stay in this truth and you never leave this truth. You have to make sure of that, because if not, listen, man, what's crazy is, and we'll get back to it. You can go back to the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. What's crazy is I've known brothers that have, I won't say I know personally, but I've seen brothers and sisters leave this truth and think that they got a little bit of time to do whatever they want to do, and they died a week after. 1 week after they leave this truth, they're gone. Overdosing on pills and whatever the case, right? That's happened. You get what I'm saying? Hold your point. Right, let's get Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter.
Okay, I want to finish verse 19.
No, you could just do verse 20. Yeah, just 20.
Okay, but the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 20. All go unto one place.
All go into one place. Go ahead.
All are of the dust.
Mm-hmm.
And all turn to dust again.
Listen, man, all of us are going to go to one place, right? All of us are of the dust, and we turn to dust again. Give me Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. It's going to explain this a little bit better, right? Give me Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 7.
Okay, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it.
And the spirit returns unto the Most High, who gave the same God that gave you that spirit, right? Your life for you to be able to be born. Your spirit is going to return. So now what happens, right? You return to the dust, right? You go down into the earth. That's what happens when you die. You get buried. Some people cremate. Don't do that. It's not unlawful, but it's just not our custom, right? But for most people, they get buried. And what Israel's custom was, you either get buried in the ground or you get put into what's called a sepulcher, right? You go into this tomb, right? And that's where your body stays, right? And what happens when you die? Your body starts to decay. Your body decays, and it literally becomes part of the earth. That's what happens when you die. Your body, after so many years, your body decays and it becomes part of the earth, the dust of the ground, right? But what happens to your spirit? Your spirit gets sent to the Most High, right? All of these scriptures are going together, right? But let's keep going. Let's go back to Ecclesiastes 3, and let's go to verse 21.
Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 21. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? Verse 22. Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works.
So he said, I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works. Be proud of your works. But why? Keep going.
For that is his portion.
That is his portion. Your portion is the work that you put in. Remember the first one of the first verses, I think. Let me see if it was the first verse. Yeah, the first verse that we read today, Ecclesiastes 1 and 3. What profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? What's the profit? What do you gain out of your work? Right? Well, now he's explaining it now in the 3rd chapter, and he's saying, I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion. Keep going.
Okay. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him?
Who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? Meaning after he dies. After he dies, who shall bring him to see what happens after that? The Lord does. That's the answer. It's a rhetorical question. The Lord is going to bring him back to see his works. If you're in the truth, stay in the truth. Because what happens is you're going to raise your child in the truth. And he's going to raise his child in the truth. So on and so forth. And when the Lord decides to bring you back, you will be the product of your own works. One way or the other, you're going to be the product of your own works, right? Whether you've raised them to be lawless and do whatever the hell they want to do, you'll be raised in a lawless family. Or you'll reap the benefits of you keeping the truth and giving it to your children. And now you'll be raised up in the truth and you'll have what the Lord wants you to have, right? Let's get a couple, we got a little bit of extra time, right? Oh yeah, hour 30. We got a little bit of extra time, right? We might run over just a little bit, but I want to give y'all some good precepts for this, right? Let me get okay, so let's start here, right? Give me Exodus, the 20th chapter, right? This is the 20th chapter of Exodus is where you find the so-called 10 commandments. We don't call them the 10 commandments because in all actuality, there's way more commandments than just the 10. And the Christians use this to say that you only got to keep the 10. So I don't like saying that, but this is where you find those specific 10 commandments at. Exodus 20. Now we're going to focus on one verse that kind of proves regeneration, right? So give me verse 5.
Okay. Book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
Right. This is talking about idols, right? The Lord is telling us that we should not have any gods before him, right? And we cannot bow ourselves down to those gods. Keep going.
For I, the Lord, thy God, am a jealous God.
He's a jealous guy. He don't want you serving nobody else. He's not jealous the way your husband is jealous or the way your wife is jealous. He's jealous in the sense that he is your father and you cannot take another God as your father or as your power, right? Keep going.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children.
Upon who?
Upon the children.
So he's visiting the iniquity of the fathers. Something that the fathers did upon who?
The children.
What the hell did the children do? Goddamn. Right? What did you do to go through what you've done, what you went through as a child? What did I do to go through what I went through as a child? What did you do to go through what you went through as a child? You're a goddamn kid. You didn't do anything to anybody. Right? Keep going.
Unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me.
Unto the what?
Unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me.
The Lord is going to visit the iniquity of what you've done. He's gonna take that judgment and he's gonna give it to you when you return to your 3rd or 4th generation. So, like I was saying, your great-great-grandchildren. If you raise your children in the truth, your great-great-grandchildren are going to be in the truth. Hopefully, if they keep the traditions that you taught them. And so then you'll be raised under them. But if you raise them to be lawless and disobedient, you'll be raised under them. You know what I'm saying, right? So the Lord is going to visit the iniquity of the fathers, the thing that you've done, to your great-great-grandchildren. Why? Your great-grandchildren didn't do any goddamn thing. But you did. And now you are reincarnated or regenerated into that body. And now you're going to play out that punishment for what you did 3-4 generations ago. You're going to get that punishment is going to happen to you now. Right? So let's get another one, right? Let's get let's get John 9. God damn it. It's locky. I got this thing on my phone, right? It's called tap tap, right? And what it is if you can tap your phone twice, and then it brings up the Bible, right? And then if you tap it 3 times, let me see. Well, this ain't working. Okay, you tap it 3 times and puts on the flashlight. You can set it to whatever you want, right? But the problem is it recognizes me tapping it when I'm not tapping it. So I'll be in the middle like reading something, and then it'll just pull up the Bible. Don't download that app. That's not an advertisement. You should never download that app, right? I'm sitting here trying to pull this precept, and they pulling up something else. All right, John 9:2.
Okay. The book of John, chapter 9, verse 2. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?
So now this brother that they're talking about, this brother is born. He was born blind. He was born with no eyesight. That has to be a terrible thing. Just as a side note, goddamn, the Lord can do that to you, man. The Lord can make you be born and never see the beauty that He created. Now, not everybody's like me, but I absolutely love landscape. Meaning, I love seeing green trees and mountains, and I love stuff like that. I mean, I absolutely love stuff like that. And I love like beautiful colors and stuff like that, right? I can't imagine not being able to see those things. That would be absolutely terrible. And one of my fears is losing my vision. Like I know if I was to ever lead the truth, the Lord gonna take my vision away from me. Because He knows that's like my weakness. Because I love to see everything. Beauty is just is one of my favorite parts about being alive, being able to see things. Now, this brother was born blind. He never got to see a goddamn thing. That's punishment. So now Jesus' disciples is asking him, saying, who sinned, him or his parents? Now, he's asking this based off of what? Exodus, the 20th chapter, where we just read that the Most High will visit the iniquity of the fathers on the children. So they're asking him, who sinned, this man or his parents? Keep going.
Okay, verse 3. Yahushua answered, neither has this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him.
So now this specific situation is a little bit different because this man was born blind so Christ could heal him. That's why this man was born blind. But what should give you the understanding, or what should give you the hint that these brothers understood regeneration, is that they asked Christ if this man sinned or his parents sinned. Right? The scriptures say that the scriptures say that the child cannot bear the iniquity of the father. That's what the scriptures say. Meaning, for instance, if I sin, let's say I steal, right? Or let's say I murder, right? The punishment for murder is death, and according to the Bible. So if I murder somebody, he can't die because I murdered, right? I have to bear my own iniquity, meaning I face the punishment, right? Now, the reason why that's so important to understand is the reason why the Lord is going to visit the iniquity of the father upon the children to the third and fourth generation is because that child isn't dying, or that child isn't blind, right? Because of what it's done itself. That child is blind because of what it's done in the past. If that makes sense. Am I making sense to everybody? Right? I know I'm beating this over the head, but I want to get as much context as possible, right? Let's get another one. Malachi 4 and 5. I ain't gonna give y'all my whole precept book here, but I am gonna bring out a few precepts to kind of reiterate and kind of solidify the truth that regeneration is real. All right, y'all heard me talk about Elijah earlier, how Elijah was reincarnated into John, right? Give me Malachi 4 and 5. It's all good.
Keep skipping over.
I know how that is. It's such a small book. It'd be like, I know. Trust me.
Yeah. Book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet.
Now, this is a prophecy, right? And the Most High is saying, I will send you Elijah, the prophet. Go ahead.
Before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
What's the day of the Lord? What's the day of the Lord? The day of the Lord is when Christ returns and puts these Edomites to death, and puts you to death if you right along with them Edomites if you don't get right with the Most High. That's when the day of the Lord is when the Most High establishes his kingdom on this earth. So he said, I will send you Elijah the prophet. Who's Elijah the prophet? You go back into the book of 2 Chronicles or the Chronicles and Samuel, and you can see Elijah was a great prophet. A prophet so great that the Most High loved him enough to not let him taste the death the same way that everybody else died. He was taken up to be with the Lord, right? Give me this precept for this. Give me Matthew 11 and 13. So the Most High told us he's going to send us Elijah the prophet. How the hell is he going to do that? Elijah's dead, right? Elijah's dead and gone. So how is he going to send us Elijah the prophet? Well, I'll show you how. Matthew 11 and 13.
Like on the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 13. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John.
Until John. Now this is Christ speaking, right? This is not Christ speaking.
Concept.
This is Christ speaking. And he said, for all the prophets and the law prophesied until John, until this day where John is here. Keep going, verse 14.
Verse 14. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come.
He said, if you will receive it, if you can handle this, understand this thing here. This is Elias, right? Now this is translated from the Greek, whereas Malachi was translated from the Hebrew. Elias is Elijah. It's the same thing, right? This is Elias, which was for to come. Where was he prophesied to come? Malachi 4 and 5. This is the same brother. Elijah was reincarnated into John. That's Christ telling you that. Let's just say that you don't believe in Christ's words. Let's get Luke 1. Right? Let's get Luke the first chapter. Now we'll get two witnesses on this. The scriptures say that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every fact be established. Right? So let's get the second witness here, so we can, be sure that Elijah was reincarnated into John, or into the body of John, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Right? Luke 1 and 13.
Okay. The book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 13. But the angel said unto him, fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayers is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John.
So we talking about John. This is John the Baptist, right? Keep going.
Okay. And thou shalt have joy and gladness, and shall
give me. Okay, so let's skip over that, right? Give me verse 17. 17 is still talking about John. You can read in between on your own time, but for sake of time, let's read verse 17.
Okay, verse 17. He shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias.
Of who?
Of Elias.
Of Elias. That's talk. This is saying, once again, this is saying that this is Elijah reincarnated into John. This was before John was even born. This was an angel of the Lord speaking to Zechariah, which was the father of John, right? I mean, I don't know what else I got to tell you about that. I mean, it's plain and simple, right? Let's get another one. Let's do. There's so many here. Hold on, let me see. Okay. God damn. Y'all got time, right? Y'all good? Y'all got time? Okay, let's do this then. Let's get Matthew 22. Matthew the 22nd chapter. I really want to get as many precepts on this as possible, because this is a fallacy that so many people in the Christian church and all over, they don't understand what death really is. I really want to hone in on what death really is and why you should not be afraid of it. I really want people to understand that, because it's going to push you to live your life righteously, because you're going to understand that what you do here matters. A lot of people, like, what do they say? They say you can't take it with you to the grave. They're talking about money. You can't take the money with you to the grave. Listen, man, you can build an empire for your children, man. And them children, when they have children and their children have children, you're going to come back in that empire. That name that you've built for yourself, like my name is Parak. So my house is House of Parak. And that's going to be that forever. You get what I'm saying? And when I come up in the House of Parak, I want it to be an honorable name. I don't want it to be dishonorable. Like, oh yeah, them niggas. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be like that. I want my daughters. We did a class about how to raise your daughters, right? I want my daughter's name to be well spoken of. I want my daughter. I want everybody to look at my daughters like, yeah, Parak raised them little girls. Them girls are solid. They straight. They good, right? They know how to behave. I don't want nobody. I don't want to come up into a house where there's nothing but dishonor. You get what I'm saying? But let's get it. I'm talking too much. Let's do it. Let's get Matthew 22 and 23. Damn, that burrito smell good as hell. Salaki. I'm sorry, y'all. Salaki. Nigga ain't ate yet. Matthew 22 and 23.
Like on the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 23. The same day came to him the Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection.
They say what?
There is no resurrection.
Are the Sadducees good or bad? Who can tell me that? Anybody? You can tell me anybody.
Bad.
They're bad, right? In a sense, I don't want to make it sound, childish, but they're bad in the sense that they follow the tradition of man. They don't follow the truth, right? They don't believe in the truth. Now they say that they believe in God and all this, right? But they don't actually, they uphold man's traditions more than they uphold God's laws, right? So the Sadducees say there is no resurrection. What is the resurrection? Look it up. I'll look it up. I got it. I'll look it up. Resurrection. I want to make sure that everybody has this this definition, right? Okay, let me see. I'm gonna do resurrect because that might be more. All right, listen. The term resurrect means, this is off of the Oxford Dictionary, restore a dead person to life. That's what it means. So that's what we're talking about here today. Restoring a dead person to life, right? The Sadducees say they don't believe in the resurrection, meaning they do not believe in the regeneration. This whole class that we've talked about how you come back, the Sadducees didn't believe that, right? So what the Sadducees did and the Pharisees did is they would always question Christ. Christ taught the resurrection. He taught that when you die, you come back. That's what he taught. But the Sadducees didn't believe him, so they're questioning him. Give me verse 24.
Okay, and asked him, saying, Master.
Now, when it, just as a side note, when they said master, when they call Christ master, they say this because they're like taunting Christ. It's almost like sarcasm, if you could think about it like that, right? That's when they was calling him master. They was calling him that, like almost like a slap in the face type of thing, right? But keep going.
Master, Moses said, if a man die having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up seed unto his brother.
So now this is a law in the Bible, right? And we'll actually get the law, right? Since we all got time. Y'all shouldn't have told me that. Right? But we'll actually get this law in the Bible. This is called the law of the brother, right? Or the law of a brother, right? Moses said, if a man die having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up seed unto his brother. The law in the Bible says that if you're a man, right, and you have no male children to carry on your bloodline, if you die, your brother, your immediate, like your actual brother, your blood brother, has to marry your wife, right? So that way he can raise up seed unto his brother, meaning they have to have sex and create a child, a male child, so that way your bloodline doesn't die, right? Like I said, we'll get that law in just a minute. So the Sadducees come up to Christ and they say, that's what Moses said, right? If a man die having no children, his brother has to marry his wife and raise up seed to his brother. But keep going.
Okay, verse 25. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother.
So now this is going to go into a whole scenario, right? Where this brother, he basically what we just read about, right? This brother died and never had any children with this woman. So then he, of course, then the sister married his brother, right? To raise up seed unto him, right? And so what we're going to talk about is, or what this is going to go into is 7 men. It was, okay, I'll put it to you like this. It was 7 men in that line that just kept trying and they kept dying and nobody ever raised up seed unto their brother, right? Give me verse 20. Give me verse 27.
Okay.
You can actually, I don't know why I skipped over that. Give me verse 26.
Okay. Verse 26. Likewise, the second also, and the third unto the 7th.
And so everybody that tried to raise up seed to their brother, they all ended up dying before they could have children. Keep going.
Verse 27. And last of all, the woman died also.
And last of all, even the woman died. So goddamn, right? So where is this child going to? This is what they were doing. They were questioning Christ against the resurrection, because in this scenario, where would that man that died, the first man that died, where is he going to come back? How is he going to be able to regenerate when his generation is finished? Because he didn't have any kids, right? Am I making sense? Makes sense, right? It's a good question to ask, right? But keep going.
Okay, verse 28. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7?
And then they ask this: in the resurrection, when they regenerate, whose wife is she going to be? Because she had 7 husbands and they all ended up dying, right? So whose wife is which one of those men are going to be her husband, right? Keep going.
For they all had her.
Right, they all had her. They were all married to her. Go ahead.
Verse 29. Yahweh answered and said unto them, ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God.
Listen, man. This was the way Christ spoke, and so you should understand why we speak the way we speak, because Christ spoke just like that. He said, "You do error, right? Not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of the Most High." You don't understand the Bible, and you don't understand God. Keep going.
Okay, verse 30. For in the resurrection,
So now he's about to school their ass, right? For in the resurrection, in the regeneration, go ahead.
they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven.
So when you regenerate, you don't just because you was married to this woman or married to this man in your previous life, when you regenerate, you don't have to go get with them again. You get what I'm saying? That's not how it works, right? The scriptures say in the book of Ecclesiastes that there remaineth no remembrance of former things. You don't remember who you used to be. You don't remember the wife that you used to have, the husband that you used to have. You don't remember any of that. When you're born as a new person, right? You're born into a new body. You just think like a 1-day-old. You think like a baby, and you start over again, right? They neither marry nor are given in marriage, nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. What that means is, when you're reborn into this earth, you're just going to do whatever the Lord tells you to do. That's it. The Lord is going to, whatever judgment the Lord wants you to play out, that's what you're going to play out, right? Keep going.
Verse 31. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God is the God of the dead. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living.
God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. What sense does it make for you to die and never come back? The Most High is not the God of the dead. He's the God of the living, right? Let's get another one real quick. Let's actually get, just to explain what I was talking about, Deuteronomy 25, right? Let's explain what I was talking about so that way you can actually have this law to understand it. Now, and I'll give you a little bit of insight on this too, because some people take this law and they don't know how to handle it, right? Let's get Deuteronomy 25 and verse 5.
Okay, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25, verse 5. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger.
So if you die, right? If it says if brethren dwell together, meaning if you have a brother, right, and one of them die and have no child, meaning, so let's just say this is my physical brother. Let's say we got the same father, right? If I die and have no child, this is what he has to do, right? Go ahead.
Okay. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her.
So his duty would be to go in unto my wife and raise up seed, right? It'll explain what that's talking about in a second, right? To perform the duty of a husband's brother, right? Verse 6.
Verse 6. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother, which is dead, that his name not be put out of Israel.
So that child, that man child that they have, you're going to name that child. In this instance, it would be Parak. You're going to name that child Parak. Why? That his name not be put out of Israel. Now, why does that make sense at all? That makes sense? Why?
Because you did the good works here on the earth, so your generation after that is going to be I don't know the word.
The generation after that, they're going to reap the benefits of what I've done, right? That's what you're trying to say? Exactly, right? So now that his name not be put out of Israel, that child that was raised up because of my death, that child will be me. That's exactly what this is talking about. This is talking about you being given the chance or the opportunity to not be cut off forever. Because if your spirit has nowhere to go, it means your spirit's just cut off. And you'll never regenerate back into this earth. That's why there's that law of a brother, right? Let's get another one. Pertaining this specific issue, right? Genesis 38. Let's get Genesis 38 and let's start at verse 6.
The book of Genesis, chapter 38, verse 6. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn,
go ahead.
Was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him.
So right? Was a wicked man, and the Lord killed him. How he killed him, I don't know, but he killed him, right? Keep going.
Verse 8. And Judah said,
so Judah, right, which is the father. He's the father of He's the father of and he's the father of somebody named Onan, right? Go ahead.
I kind of said unto Onan, go unto thy brother's wife and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother.
And do what?
Raise up seed to thy brother.
You got to raise up seed to your brother so that way, why? So he can come back. Otherwise, he's put out from Israel, right? Now, this was before there was an Israelite. Well, I want to say, no, this ain't before there was. I want to say it like that. That's not what I mean. This was before the written law. That's what I meant to say. This is not before there was an Israelite, right? This was before the written law, which goes to show you that the law was always here. The law was here before the book of Exodus, before the book of Numbers, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, right? Because that was a law amongst our people that if a man died and he has a brother, that brother has to raise up seed to him. And that also goes to show that the concept of regeneration has always been well known throughout our people. Let's get one more. All right. And now I just want to end the class with this one. Matthew 19 and 28. This will be the last one.
Book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 28. And Jesus said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration.
In the what?
In the regeneration.
So once again, Christ taught the regeneration. And Yahushua said unto them, he's talking to his people, he's talking to his disciples. And he said, verily I say unto you that ye which have followed me, which are his disciples, right? In the regeneration, go ahead.
When the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
So this is Christ telling his followers that if you follow me now, when it's time for my kingdom to come, when it's time for Christ to rule over this earth, you'll be ruling right along with me. And that's important to understand when it comes to this regeneration thing, man, because you got to understand that what you're doing right now is going to benefit you in the end. What you're doing right now is going to benefit you because what I'm doing, I'm setting myself up for success, right? Whereas if you're not in the truth, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're going to reap the benefits of what you've done. So now we was just talking about kids, right? Having your children, setting them up right, so that way you can come back and you'll be under them, but you'll have had a good foundation, right? And you'll be straight, you'll be set. Now you can take it a step further with what Christ just said. He said in the regeneration, if you do good to me now, if you serve the Most High and serve Christ now, in the regeneration, when it's time for Christ to serve, I'm just like when it's time for Christ to rule, you'll be ruling right next to him, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So that just goes to show that what you do now does matter. And that whole concept of, you can't take it with you when you die. Damn, all of that. Everything that you do right now matters because you're going to have to, if you want to be selfish about it, which I would advise in this specific situation, I would advise you to be selfish in this sense, that whatever you do is going to affect your future and your next life, right? There's plenty more precepts, but unfortunately, because I'm running over, we'll have to save that. I'll probably throw it in the class for next Wednesday, right? But with that, we're going to go ahead and close out. All right, so just men up here at Majim, which means to stand. everybody else, I imagine, which means to stand. Wapan Yaha Gudam, which means to turn and face the east. All right. We're going to read these prayers. All right, beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shamkat. Yahweh. Malak with Ka. Taba'ah. Ratazak. Hayah. Slug it. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Baratazak. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Nathanawa. Lakam. Call you one. Wasalakinawa. Kawatnawa. Kasalaknawa. Kawatinawa. Wala'ah. Tawiyanawa. Wanasai one. Abal. Hawashanawa. Mayan. Raikaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Wa'ala. Watha La'ai Amen. Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. The power in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Baba Kushai. Nathanawa. Kak. Larapa'ah. Call Maka'ala. Wakal Madawa. Hakak Latahar. How much is Orion? Hakak. Lakwayam. Amathium. Hakak. Arakawa. Atama'ala. Lagarshan. Ba'ashem Yahushai. The water Aman. In the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Please give us the power. The power to heal all manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in Hebrew. Asha'ah. Ayanya. Aharyam. Ma'ayan. Yaba'ah. Isaiah. Ma'aim. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamayam. Wa'aratazah. Ayathan. Lamawat. Regalka. Ayanawam. Shamarka. Hana. La'ah. Yanawam. Wala'ah. Yayashan. Shalmar. Yasha'ala. Yahweh. Shamarka. Yahweh. Tazalka. Al-Yad. Yamyaka. Yawamam. Hashamash. La'ah. Yakaka. Wayrak. Walayala. Yahweh. Yashamarka. Makal Rad. Yashamar. Atnapashka. Yahweh. Yashamar. Taza'afka. Wabah. Wa'akah. Ma'aitha. Wa'id. Awalam. In the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yasharallah shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day. Nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out. And thy coming in. From this time forth. And even forevermore. All right, Psalms the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Alahayo. Adama Yalaka. All Thakarash. All Thashakwat. All. Kayana. Awayabika. Yamaya one. Ra'ash. Al-Imaka. Yara Yamwa. Sawada. Wayatha. Yaitazawa. Altazapawanyaka. Amarwa. Lakawa. Wanakakidam. Magalia. Wala'ah. Yazakar. Sham Yashrala. Awada.
Kaya,
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 Nawaitazawa,
Namaitazawa,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Yakabu,
Auyuka,
Ayuka,
Barya,
Maria,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarathwa,
Ahaya,
Ahaya,
Adawam,
Adawan,
Wayashamayaliam,
Washama Aliam,
Mawaaba,
Mawaaba,
Wagaryam,
Wagari,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Waimawan,
Wamawan,
Waimalak,
Wamalak,
Palashah,
Palashat,
I'm Yeshabia,
Ayeshabia,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gamashawar,
Damazawar,
Nalawat,
Malawat,
Imam,
Aiman,
Hayawat,
Hayawat,
Zarawat,
Zarawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Nabali Nawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
Ashalaham,
Kamadyan,
Kamagi,
Kasaya,
Kasiyah,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Kayabian,
Kayabi,
Wanakal,
Manakal,
Kwayashwan,
Kayashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Nashamakwa,
Bayan,
Bayan,
Dara,
Darat,
Hayawat,
Hayawat,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
Naadama,
Shayathamwa,
Shai Thumwa,
Nada,
Nadad,
Yabmawa,
Yamawat,
Kaira,
Kairat,
Wakaza Abu,
Ukaza Abu,
Wakaza Bak,
Ukaza Bat,
Wakaza Zal,
Ukaza Zal,
Mana I,
Mana I,
Call,
Call,
Nasaya,
Yasiyah,
Kamwa,
Kamwa,
it's like Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nairashah,
Nairashad,
Anawa,
Anawa,
Nawat,
Nawat,
Alahayim,
Alahaya,
Alahayim,
Alahaya,
Shayathamwa,
Shai Thumwa,
Kagalgala,
Kagargala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Rakah,
Lapanya Rakat,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Taba Ira Yaira,
Taba'ir Yaira,
Wakala Haba,
Wakala Haba,
Talahat,
Kalahat,
Haryam,
Haryam,
Khan,
Khan,
Tharadakma,
Thawadakma,
Masa Irika,
Basa Irika,
Wabasa,
Babasa,
Wapatka,
Wapathka,
Taba Alam,
Babalam,
Mala'ah,
Mala'ah,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kuala One,
Kalawan,
Waya,
Waya,
Bakwashwa,
Bakashwa,
Shamka,
Shemka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Bahawa,
Baharwa,
Ayai,
Agiai,
Waya,
Waya,
Kaparwa,
Kaparwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Abadwa,
Abadu,
Waya,
Waya,
Da'aiwa,
the Iowa,
Kayatha,
Kayata,
Shamka,
Shemka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labaka,
Labaka,
Ayawan,
Ayawan,
Alkal,
Akal,
Al-Ratiza.
Haratiza.
All right, Psalms the 83rd chapter in English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace,
And be not still,
and be not still,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumble,
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They are taking crafty counsel against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come, and
Come,
let us cut them off from being a nation,
let us cut them off from being a nation.
that the name of Yasharallah
In the name of Yahshua,
may be no more in
there
remembrance.
be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against thee.
the tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
I'm sure also are joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They are hoping the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera,
As to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kasan,
at the brook of Kasan,
which perished and endured.
which perished and endured.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became a dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a rib,
Make their nobles like a rib,
and like Ze'er.
and like Zeb.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes as Zabah,
all their princes as Sabbath,
and as Zamunah,
and as Amun,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh
the houses of Yahweh
in possession.
in possession.
Oh my God,
Oh my God,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on
and
fire.
as the flames set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempests,
So persecute them with thy tempest,
and make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid with thy storms.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame and perish,
let them be put to shame and perish,
that men may know that thou,
that men may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
are the most high over all the earth.
are the most high over all the earth.
The blessings in the Hebrew, Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh.
Why Yahweh Shai,
Why Yahweh Shai?
Why Mayaka Allah,
Why Micah Allah?
Why Allahayim,
Why Alahayim?
Matazab Yah,
Matazab Yah?
Alawap Yahana,
Alawap Yohana?
Ha Alawapyum,
Ha Alawapyum?
Ha Saranyum,
Hasaranyu?
Ha Kwasazayanyum,
Mukata Zayanyu?
Ha Kayayoyum,
Hakawa Yayu?
Waha Gwathian,
Wahala Waktyan?
Yahweh,
Yahweh?
by Shem Yahweh Shai,
By Shem Yahweh Shai?
the Wadaman.
The Wadaman.
In the English, bless you Yahweh,
Bless you Yahweh,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angels,
commanding General Yohanan,
commanding General Yohana,
the generals,
the general,
the captains,
the captains,
the officers,
the officers,
the troopers,
the troopers,
and the sisters.
and the sisters.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
in the name of Yahweh Shai.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Sorry while you're shopping, you can turn and be seated. Any brother want their head anointed with oil? Step up. All right, y'all know the drill. I'm gonna say this prayer. When I point to you, you say your name. We'll do that 3 times. All right, this is coming out of Numbers, the 6th chapter, verses 22 through 27. Yabaraka Yahweh, Waya Shamarka, Ya'ar Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Alyaka, Waya Kanka, Yasha'ah Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Alyaka, Waya Shamlaka, Shalom, Yahweh, Ba Shem Yahweh Shai, Barak, Bapa, Magun, Hagun, Genesis, Shai, Razan, Ba Shem Yahweh Shai, the Wada Aman. Clap it up. Glad to be seated. All right, sister, you want to have another word? You got it. All right, same thing, since you know the drill. All right, we'll say these prayers. Point to you, say your name back. All right. Yabaraka Yahweh, Waya Shamarka, Ya'ar Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Alyaka, Waya Kanka, Yasha'ah Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Alyaka, Waya Shamlaka, Shalom, Yahweh, Ba Shem Yahweh Shai, Barak, Bapa, Magun, Hagun, Kana, Ba Shem Yahweh Shai, the Wada Aman. Clap it up for the sister. All right, what I just said in English was Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless, heal, shield, protect these brothers and sisters. All right. We're going to go ahead and close out. All right, so just the men of Israel, Imagine, which means to stand. We give each other a courtesy salute to close out this Sabbath service. Men of Israel, Imagine, Shabbat. Imagine, Barak. Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Sorry towards the sister. Sister Imagine, which means to stand. You get a sister a courtesy salute as well. Men of Israel, Imagine, Shabbat. Imagine, Barak. Yahweh, Shamar, Latham, Bashem, Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shamar, Elatah, Bashim Yahweh Shai.
Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Most High in Christ. Yajim Batah, Sabbath service dismissed.